Welcome back to High School Backups Podcast. This is episode number 74. I'm here with Steve, Justin, Austin, and I am Kyle. And before we get into the lots of fun we have planned for tonight, let's talk about just some somber news. Uh, LeBron James's son did suffer some heart related issues last night or yesterday afternoon, resulting in some cardiac failure. So we do want to wish Bronny a very speedy recovery and wish him and his family all the best of luck. And prayers go out to the James family in this time. I did hear that he is out of the ICU
He
at
is
this
stable.
time, which is excellent news. So let's keep up the speedy recovery, Bronny. We're wishing the best for you.
And
Now,
also Damar Hamlin tweeted as well, showing some love for him too.
which is awesome because I'm not sure the exact details of the Bronny situation, but is it a similar situation? Is that what they're
Mm.
kind of saying? Was it a similar issue?
Um, it's both cardiac arrest, but it could be a different cause because
Ah, okay.
Damar Hamlin's was he got hit at just the wrong time in between heart pumps, and
Right.
we don't know what Bronny. It could be that, or unfortunately, he could just have a pre-existing heart condition that does happen even for really healthy individuals.
Which
Um,
it does happen,
mhm.
unfortunately. It is very common with basketball players as well. This has been happening in NCAA for a few years now. I want to say like 6, 7 years. I've seen this happen a few times. One happened in the middle of a game, right at U
Uh-huh.
Miami. It was
Yeah, I got
Miami, right?
that's
Yeah.
Keontae George, the one who
Yep.
went to K State last year,
Yep.
and he got drafted this year. They actually they wouldn't let him play at Miami,
Hmm.
and because of it, and he said, "Screw this, I'm gonna go somewhere else, get a second opinion." Got cleared and went and played for them, and then
Yep.
absolutely destroyed it last year. So credit to him.
Mm-hmm.
You had Sharif O'Neal who had the problem with his heart, but his was different. Damar Hamlin, as far as I know, was not myocarditis though. I believe it because of what you were saying, Steve, where it got hit. It was a special condition where he got hit literally
Yeah.
perfectly timed. That's still insane to me because it's like a couple milliseconds or something
It's
crazy
actually
like that.
less than it's officially less than a millisecond.
Right,
That
like he got.
so
I just wow. Talk about bad luck. But anyways, I from what I understand, Ronnie's it is myocarditis, so it is something that actually he has some sort of heart condition that they have to figure out what caused it. But his is different. It probably was something like where he was running or doing whatever on the court because they said it was during a really hard workout at USC, and his heart just went into arrest, getting worked so hard. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is unfortunate. It does happen from time to time. But we do wish Bronny the speedy recovery. But moving on to happier topics of the day. First, we just had some breaking news that literally just
hmm
happened a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
Justin Herbert
I
is
was gonna
now
mention that with the Chargers.
the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. The Chargers and Justin Herbert signed a 5-year, $262.5 million extension that has him signed through 2029.
Mhm.
What do we think, boys?
Good for
W.
Herbert.
I think it's W for both.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
This is gonna be interesting when Joe Burrow has his contract talks later this year. Because I think he's gonna get more than that. I think he could get close to 270 a year.
One thing I will say, I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I will say, as Kyle's somebody who loves to doubt Justin Herbert. He definitely is in a very low key prove it situation because he now has a very very good offensive coordinator right behind him, and hopefully then Stanley will be able to focus on the defense. But for Joe Burrow, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually takes a smaller deal. I think it might be more Patrick Mahomes, where it's may seem like a lot, but it's spread out with different cap hits every year, so that it can make the way for like potentially keeping T Higgins and Jamar Chase because those are both two young guys. So
Yeah, that's a great point, Steve. Joe Burrow could easily, if he wanted to, do that. You know, like it's definitely going to be up to him and his agents and the teams negotiating to see if he does want to take a team-friendly deal. Not an Aaron Rodgers team-friendly deal, like an actual team-friendly deal.
No, Aaron Rodgers is full of it. Come on.
What, like a Brady deal?
Yeah, exactly. Like a
Yeah.
Brady, like so the team can
Um,
focus on other parts of their roster. Because obviously, while the quarterback is the most important position, you can't just have a great quarterback to win. We've seen that from time to
Well,
time.
look
You
at
need
Aaron
other
Rodgers.
people- Yeah, exactly. I think Mahomes is the exception, not the reality.
His isn't. Thing is, his actually isn't that high because they locked him in for 10 years back then, knowing it would be high for like 2 years, 3 years, and now where we're here, he's gonna be on such a low cap
He's-
hit compared to all the other quarterbacks
Uh,
for the next. That's what's scary is they won while he was such a high cap hit for them, and now as the CBA or not, do they call it the CBA in the NFL?
No.
I think they call it something different. I don't think
Anyways.
it's quite the.
Their CBA or whatever it's called. Um, as the salary cap keeps going up because they keep making more money, he's just going to have he's just going to have more to play with. You know, Andy Reid never ready to sign him. So
Yeah, it is a very interesting situation here for Justin Herbert. I do think he and the team did have both a W situation. Like while he does get to be the highest paid quarterback for the next
Mhm.
couple of years, I don't think he will stay the highest paid. To be, I think there are going to be other quarterbacks coming up. I think this is going to be a very realistic salary. I think it's going to look more normal the next couple of
Is
years
it
than it does this
Joe
time.
Burrow's next year though.
It's end of this year, next year.
Okay,
So
yeah. So
yeah,
he's gonna have
so-
1 year as the highest paid unless they sign him
Exactly.
early.
Did your quarterback
I-
Kyle go for that gigantic salary jump that he wanted?
So
Mhm.
Daniel
most of it.
Daniel
Got
Jones'
most of it.
contract is you know, it is high.
Waste
but
of money.
he's not. He's Steve.
Yeah.
He's right at where other quarterbacks of his caliber are right now. A little higher, but like, I would like he's on average he's with Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. He's at that level, getting around 40 million a
That's
year.
definitely better.
I'm not talking talent. I'm talking salary.
Oh.
Talking salary.
Yeah.
And like I'm obviously because I would all like consider those guys around middle of the pack quarterbacks, like not top tier talent. And I think they're all
Right.
getting
I would
paid.
say
I think they're all getting paid mid year.
if
like-
Mac not Mac if DJ follows it up like last year what he did last year this year, then I'd give you he's like a medium. If he kind of regresses back, then it's obviously definitely an overpay, and even still it's
Yeah.
an overpay because he likely, unless he takes a big step that we're not expecting, even if
Well,
he's
I'm
what he was last
expecting.
year.
I'm
Yeah,
expecting.
you are, but you're the fan, so you don't count. If he stays even at the level he was last year, it's still an overpay because Dak Prescott, like you were talking about, is maybe in that middle tier with him, but he's like
They make
on
the
that
same.
like he's no, I know, but I'm saying like Dak is on the upper echelon where he's like talked about sometimes with these other guys because he's got talent, but he tends to choke and not show up when he needs to.
Mhm.
Whereas like DJ just doesn't show up for the most part.
So I think this year with DJ is going to be a massive. Like this is really where he needs to step up, and
Yeah.
he needs to show that he can be an elite quarterback, like he showed in college. He showed aspirations in college that he could be a good to great quarterback. Like he showed it. This is his chance to prove it that he can do it without a number one wide receiver. This is his chance to prove it. And now that he has Saquon back, which we will get to momentarily, now that he has Saquon back, he doesn't have much excuse anymore.
Did
this
you
is
say
his
with
chance.
a number one receiver?
I said without.
Oh, well, didn't he prove that last year without a number one wide receiver?
Yes, he did. So he did, but this is his chance to do it more.
And
Continue.
he also has, I mean, if he can stay healthy, he still has a very solid tight end that he can use,
Exactly.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do think Darren Waller will kind of replace the number one wide receiver role, essentially.
I mean,
Who did
with
you
most
guys
targets.
Did you guys draft a receiver?
Jalen Hyatt.
Right.
Yeah, again, lots of slot receivers, man. We'll see
if
how
I'm
we
correct,
do.
Don't don't they have 15 receivers on their roster right now?
Yeah, they're definitely not all sticking around.
Hey,
We'll see
can
which
you
one
get
team
Victor
moves.
Cruz?
Dude, if we had Victor Cruz, I would love it, man. Come out of retirement. He was my favorite player of all time.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh.
Victor Cruz. Give me the salsa, baby. All
He-
right,
he-
moving
yeah.
moving on. Before we get into our actual debating topics tonight, Kylian Mbappe decides he wants to be the richest man alive.
He makes me sad.
So, for those unaware, Kylian Mbappe was offered $1.1 billion to play for Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal professional soccer team, which, great for him. He hasn't, I don't think, as of today, July 25th, he has not accepted it yet. Massive contract.
Yeah.
It's stupid. He's going to be making
That's for 1 year, by the way.
yeah
That's
1 year.
1 year.
He's literally making. So he technically he doesn't make 1.1 billion.
Mhm.
No.
332 million of that goes to the transfer fee to PSG.
Yes.
But he still will be making $776 million this year. And that I gotta find the other stats, but I know that it was $24 a second.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I saw it.
I would love to
I
get
need
paid that.
Find that, but to find the rest of it because it's insane.
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, he's also his salary's gonna be more than most Powerball lotteries. Like 700 million is a very high Powerball lottery. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh! And the thing is that
crazy.
depending on who's paying in Saudi Arabia, that's pocket change. Realistically.
Yep.
In other soccer news, Lionel Messi had his first game in an MLS uniform, and he did it in absolute style, scoring the game winner on a free kick, right? He scored it on. Absolutely stunning. There were other goats of their sport in attendance, including Serena Williams, LeBron James, and Tom Brady. All of them were absolutely starstruck at that goal. There's a video that was posted by Fox Soccer of Serena Williams absolutely jaw dropping after Lionel Messi's goal. Absolutely insane, that goal.
I mean, I was surprised too because I mean, when he signed the deal with the MSL or MLS, I was kind of skeptical of him, how much he would actually play, only because he realistically would not have to play at all. He would just have to stand on the sidelines of every game, and people would flood to see it. So I was very happy to see him put a very good performance together and actually, really push himself out there. I thought that was awesome. So, I'm pleasantly surprised with that. But, I mean,
I think he's actually going to play a little bit more games. Like, I think he's actually gonna play a decent amount of games, which I definitely was not expecting.
Yeah.
Just because this is blowing my mind, just to talk about how much money this guy may make. Also, by the way, if he remains with PSG, Kylian Mbappe, he will end up with a 60 million loyalty bonus just for staying there to August 1st. So I'm kind of curious if he'll wait to accept it until after that, so he gets both. Because it's only a couple days, and I don't know when the offer expires or how this all works. That'd be really funny if he could wait until after that to get both. But first, LeBron James all-time earnings. You guys want to guess how much he's made so far in the NBA?
Oh, I saw this tweet too.
I'm gonna say it's like 400 million.
Close, Justin.
600 million?
A little bit higher. He's made 531 million his entire 20
Wow.
20 years now.
Yeah.
776 months. And then Kylian Mbappe would be making 776 million right this year if he takes it. That would be more than all of last season's players combined in the NBA. Well, not all of them, but of the stars of Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, Rudy Gobert, Fred VanVleet, Anthony Davis, what's the guy's name from the Bulls? Zach LaVine and Luka Doncic. That's 760 million in those salaries, and he would make more than all of them combined in one
Oh
season.
my god.
It is stupid. I can't find the stats that say how much, but I know it was $24 in a second.
Yeah,
That is
something
ridiculous.
stupid like
It's
that.
it's like dude literally sits down and in an hour. What is 60 times 24, whatever that ends up being, but it's like a couple hundred.
I
Like,
don't even make $24 an hour. This dude's making.
actually that's 1,000.
Oh.
That's like 1,000. That's like 1,000 in an hour. Or
Here,
that's way more than that. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Makes
Do
more
the
than
math out.
makes more than an hour
So-
than I make in a day.
That's
So
two.
$24 a
just-
second, right?
Yeah, 24. So
Times
60,
60 times
20.
60
Oh,
times 24.
$86,000 an hour.
That's ridiculous.
Yay, there's my whole
you know-
year.
That's
all right.
that's triple what I make in a year. He makes in an hour.
So for all those listening and watching this when we upload it, Saudi Arabians have just FU money.
Yes, they do. No, I've said this a million times. That's a city where the police drive Lamborghinis. That's
Literally,
it's just
they
what
just
it
don't
is.
care. They're like, you come here, you're like, yeah, you're right. That's right. Hmm.
And it's funny. This deal makes. I mean, we're talking about contracts right now because there's a lot, even in basketball too. But there's just so many contracts going on right now. But then Saudi Arabia just went, oh, all of your American athletes want to sign all these different contracts for big money. Here, hold my beer, and let's just drop a salary that is higher than the average of every star in any sport combined, and it means nothing. Mbappe is
Dude.
probably like the 100th richest person in Saudi Arabia, which is
Dude, the funny thing too is that like all of these golfers who went and got that money, like it's not even the first person they've paid this kind of money. Like they offered it to. I feel so
Leslie-
bad.
Messi was
They
offered it.
they offered Messi, but they
Ronaldo
they-
signed it.
yeah, and they offered it to what's his name, Tiger Woods,
Yep.
for $1 billion for the season.
Oh yeah, for Live Golf,
Dude,
right? Yep.
that is a big, just terrible fu to Tiger Woods from the PGA when they said like 2 months later, hey, by the way, we're just gonna merge with them. So all that money you would have gotten and you didn't take because you were gonna be loyal to us, yeah, screw you. We're gonna go merge with them so we can take the money.
yep.
Anyways,
Anyway, last thing with soccer news: the Women's World Cup is underway. Team USA looked okay. I mean, I would have liked them to be a little bit better, but they won, so it's good news. They play tomorrow night at 9 p.m., which is actually Thursday, in New Zealand where they're playing. Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch the Women's World Cup until we get to the
yeah, I don't either.
I watch it when it gets to the elimination round. I don't watch the group stages that much, especially when it's in a whole different day time zone. It's just kind of hard
They're
to
in Qatar, right?
follow it. They're in Qatar for the men's. They're in Australia
right.
and New Zealand for the women's. It's
Okay, I couldn't remember where they were. That's even worse.
yeah, that's a whole lot worse. Considering everything that we're watching, like for tomorrow's matches, with the exception of USA's, they're at 3, 5, and 6 a.m. So I'm sorry, I wouldn't watch that I wouldn't get up to watch that for any
I feel
sport.
bad for the
It's
American players who went over there and are maybe still adjusting.
well, I'm sure they went over weeks ago.
Yeah, they were probably over there.
Probably.
Not enough in advance to get used to it, but
Yeah.
Let's see if this sounds ready.
The other thing too, there's a little other news that I saw. The U.S. senators are proposing a federal law that would regulate how college athletes are allowed to make money and reshape their healthcare. So that is going forward.
I did see that they are looking to change how college athletes are able to get paid.
Yeah, they're trying to make it so it's not like this big thing for the balance of college sports and stuff like that, and kind of regulate how it. And we all knew that was coming because the government always has to regulate stuff. So
Yeah.
it was only a matter of time before they put their hand in it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't even know college athletes are getting paid.
Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a couple years.
So like PSU people were?
No, Division One.
Only Division One makes money.
Division
But
One.
More sense.
A lot of them now, at least in college basketball and stuff like that, are even in the NFL, college football. It's now a place where some of them will just stay behind because they'll make more money than going. Because if they don't get drafted, and even if they get drafted late, it makes no sense for them.
Just go back
Yeah.
to school and get another degree.
Like
while
Drew
getting
Timme is
paid.
one of those. He's getting
Or
paid
they
more
could
money
just
to go back to school.
take 5-6 years to get their degree in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is also
Yeah.
an option. Yeah. All right. Moving on to our debating topics tonight, boys. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's start with the thing that gave me a roller coaster of emotions for the past 6 months. It's finally come to an end for now, at least for the next 8 months. Saquon Barkley and the Giants have agreed on a contract for this season. A
Yep.
$11 million contract with $2 million up front and $900,000 in incentive bonuses. What do we think, boys? Is this a win for Saquon, a win for the Giants, and most importantly, how does this affect the other running backs around the league?
Well, his total can be what? What'd you say? 13 mil, right?
11.
Oh, it can only be up to
11
11.
mil.
I thought it was
11 in
11
total.
mil with okay.
No, 11 in
So-
total.
Christian's making what? 13 or 14, or is he higher than that?
I'll get back to you on that.
Because he's the highest
So-
paid, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Okay.
is. So I think in terms of the Giants, this is a win for them because they get Saquon. It's a win for Daniel Jones because he needs Saquon. But in terms of the running back market, the thing is, I mean, realistically, the running back market is still not any better than it was before. If anything, running backs, they deserve to be paid. As much as there's, from a business standpoint, it makes sense not to give them long, expensive deals because running backs can get injured and fall in production very quickly. But at the same time, I mean, running back position is very tough on the body, and running backs definitely deserve their fair pay. I wouldn't be surprised if the standard going forward is if running backs sign smaller 1 or 2 year deals going forward, where instead it's a lot of incentive based deals that can go up, but running backs will be on shorter term deals, fortunately.
So just to quickly say, Christian McCaffrey is the highest paid, and he makes $16.02 million a year, with a total value of $64 million, with a $30 million of it guaranteed.
Yeah.
So he gets about $34 million in incentives and signing bonuses, essentially.
Mhm.
So, I mean, for me, straight up, like Steve said, it's definitely a big W for the Giants. And honestly, I think right now it is really a W for Saquon
Mhm.
because he gets close to what I think that's basically what he wanted because he said he didn't want to reset the market. I think he wanted a little higher. I think he wanted 13
Well,
originally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the Giants offered him. Originally, the Giants did offer him 13, and he rejected it. So I think
Right,
he thought he
so-
could get a little more, but
I don't think he was expecting that all of the market across the NFL would be that way. And I've seen a lot of things like was Austin Eckler talking about how them being undervalued, or Najee Harris saying we set the tone, we're in the trenches, and I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, you guys have to realize you can go get yourself a Nick Chubb in the second, third, maybe even fourth round. So while you are valuable to the game, the problem is running backs, not like the top tier, but solid enough running backs that will give you your team a run game, are a dime a dozen. I hate to say it,
Yep.
but it's true.
Yes.
Like, Ramondre Stevenson's a great running back, right?
mhm.
Give
And
him 2 more
also-
years with the Pats, he will be replaced by another guy from Oklahoma or some other place that Bill Belichick finds and then says, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Because you can scheme running, and you can see that with like not Saquon, but look at Ezekiel Elliott, right? His first year in the league, and then it was all down here from there, right? Everybody thought he was was going to be like an elite running back for years, like some of the greats.
Mhm.
No, he honestly just tailed off real quickly. I don't think he was as good of a running back as people thought he was. And most of it was because of how good the Dallas run game was around him, not him, around him. That's why, and you see this all the time. Guys like Eddie Lacy, guys like Le'Veon Bell, like they make it a problem for other running backs like Derrick Henry and these guys that are the greats of a generation because they sit out and hold out. They get a contract, and the next year they're absolute crap. And
Yes.
so you
Or
could
even
say that
Melvin Gordon too.
Right, Melvin Gordon. Like I said, you got Eddie. I mean, you could go on and on and on for the last 5, 10 years and name half the running backs in the league that had one great season and did nothing. Look at Todd Gurley, right? Now it's unfortunate because he had arthritis in his knee that
Injury.
couldn't
Yeah.
help. But that's the problem is a lot of these guys get injured, and because you are in the trenches, if you have a productive season, the next year you might be slower by a step, which then means they don't want to pay you. It's just an unfortunate part of the business. So I agree with Steve. I think you have to, if you're a running back, you still need to get a longer deal if you can, because there's a good chance you will get hurt or you will start to slow down just because of the position you play. But I think you need to. The way the NFL can pay their guys is by paying them incentive based. So give them good, like say for Saquon, I would have said, okay, here's how we'll do it. We'll give you a 3 million signing bonus. We'll give you 10 million guaranteed on top of that, so it makes it 13. But the 10 million only counts to their cap, so the 3 million doesn't count. So you give him that, the 10 million, and then you give him another 3-4 million in incentives. If you hit these this year, you're good, and we'll sign you that way for another 2-3 years, whatever they both felt like was good. Because Saquon's only 26, I think. So
Yeah, 26.
right. So by 29, that's about when you usually start seeing a running back wind down, anyways. So that's a good time. If I was them, I would have said, okay, look, here's how we'll do it. We want you for 3 years because we still think you're going to be good and good for the team. Let's get good 3 years out of you. We'll give you the 3 million, 10, and then another 4 if you hit these bonuses. I don't see how that's a bad thing because the bonuses, I don't remember. Do the bonuses count against the cap? I don't remember if they do.
No.
Right.
No.
So I don't know why more teams don't do this. This is what Howie Roseman, is that the GM for the Howie Roseman for the Philadelphia Eagles do. I mean, look at how he always is managing the cap, always getting great draft picks, always being smart about it, and the fact that more teams don't do this, I forget who was talking about. I think it was Julian Edelman was talking about it with on the Kelsey Brothers podcast, New Heights, and they were literally just being like, he puts most things in incentives and signing bonus. I mean, Jalen Hurts signed for it was stupid how much he signed for, and there's not going to do anything to the cap this year for that.
And that's the thing that I think I brought this up last week on last week's podcast too, was that when you look back on the leading rusher for the last 20 Super Bowl champions, only 8 of them were making more than 1% of the annual cap.
Are you happy because Jake's not here? Well,
I
know, right? I get to plug my debate again, my argument again. So making these 16, 15, 11 million dollar a year, when you're making that much more than the cap, teams are looking at you like, okay, we are willing to pay you because you're that good, but what are the chances that you will get us that Super Bowl? Whereas a top tier quarterback that has won the past, there's only one exception I can think of in the last 20 years where the quarterback of the Super Bowl winning team was not top 5 that year in talent, and that was Nick Foles. It's just not probable for a team can get to the Super Bowl without a star running back. I think they can get there. It's harder to do in the regular season. It's harder to make the playoffs without a top tier running back, but I think it's once you make the playoffs, I think it's a lot easier for a team to win.
And I think to Jake's credit of what he was saying, because people wouldn't have seen probably all the argument that we had afterwards about that. Most of the teams that win the Super Bowl have a good rushing attack.
Yep.
But that's what I was saying is you look at people like the Pats. If you look at the Pats and other teams, I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, and you looked around the league at those times, the star running backs were on other teams. They usually weren't on that Super Bowl team, or maybe they were on the losing team. But for the most part, guys like Derrick Henry, guys like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, those kinds of guys for the last 5 years have been on the teams that either didn't make the playoffs, talking to you, Carolina, talking to you, Giants.
You're right. Right.
Look at Devonta Freeman or with
he's with the Bears right now.
Yeah, but he was with
oh no, that's Deontay Foreman.
Falcons.
Deontay Freeman was with the Falcons, yes.
All these attacks where they were really good and they were scary. The reason was because of their offensive lines. The Pats have always had good rushing attacks, and they've always had really good guys that could rush for 1,000 yards or more in a season.
That's the offensive line.
But look at LeGarrette Blount.
And that's what makes the Eagles so scary is they have
Exactly.
the best offensive line in football right now.
That's why they had
And that
literally the
will
best
make-
rushing attack we've ever seen in a season last
Yep.
year. But they
I will
have
give
a
you-
star running back.
How much do you guys think Ramondre Stevenson is making right now? I would argue Ramondre Stevenson is a top 15, 20 running back in the league right now.
He's making $940,000.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe 3
He
million
is
at max, but I didn't
making-
think it was that.
His total contract is $4.3 million.
And
he-
he's what, 25?
He is
24?
25 and he is paid till 2025. So 4.3 million total over the next
And I
years.
can guarantee you, he probably won't even get paid by the Pats.
Nope.
Belichick will
No.
likely let him walk.
No, he'll
Yep.
be moved on.
Can you guys name me the top 10 highest paid running backs in the league right now?
Okay, here we
Well,
go.
EMC.
Yeah.
Here, I'll do
McCaffrey-
it first, and then you go, Steve. You
Yeah,
get
so
the-
Christian McCaffrey is first at 16.015 million a year. Is Christian McCaffrey.
I'll say Joe Mixon is in that mix right now too.
Is that your guess for number 2?
For number, we actually are going by
Yeah,
order?
you're gonna go in order here.
I say Nick Chubb. No, fuck.
No, that's not correct.
That's
Sorry,
definitely
Steve.
not Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb is not number 2. Austin, what do you or Justin? What do you think is number 2? Take a stab at it.
Oh.
Think fantasy football, Justin.
No, I
Think
know.
fantasy-
I know.
Who
I'll
would
just
you
go-
draft in the first round, Justin?
Well, normally I look at the names for one.
Yeah.
I'll just go for Steven and hope that he got it right with the Joe Mixon thing.
He did not get that right. In
Okay.
fact,
Just-
I will tell you, Joe Mixon is actually 12th on this list because
Yeah.
he just took a pay
He
cut.
just restructured.
Yeah,
Oh.
he just restructured his contract.
That's
I'm
fine.
pretty sure his team starts with an S, I believe.
His team does start with an S. You
Yeah,
are
this is Alvin
correct.
Kamara.
It is Alvin Kamara at 15,
Really?
15 million a year is his current average annual
And then, so the next one would be.
third.
I have an idea.
Yeah, you can go if you want.
All right, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick
Yeah,
Henry is
okay,
number
that's right.
3. $12.5 million. Number 4.
That's it. Wow.
Or would be. It's not going to be Eckler because he didn't get his deal.
Could it be Marshawn
is
Lynch?
It's not Eckler.
Okay, I was right about that.
Did
I
you
was-
say
I thought you were telling
Marshawn? Did you say Marshawn Lynch, Justin?
Yeah.
He
No.
wishes he was still going to be that.
Yeah,
No,
he's
he's retired.
Oh. I just look. I literally
so-
looked up running backs in the I looked up
Oh,
running
is
backs
this
in the
Dalvin?
quarterback on accident. Whoops.
It is not Dalvin. So I will say Dalvin, Zeke, and Leonard Fournette are not included on this list at the moment.
Nope.
I
Okay.
looked. Because they
they
don't
don't have
technically
the
have
logo.
contracts,
Okay,
so they are
makes
not included on this
Okay.
list.
So
Steve, who's the 4th highest paid running
Yeah.
back? Steve,
Nick Chubb.
it's Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Yeah, $12.2 million. Number 5.
5 would have to be.
This one threw me off. Did not expect this. This is where it gets fun.
Oh. Ooh.
So- If you think you know, Steve, go ahead and guess it.
Yeah.
I think you'd be up there, but Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders is top 10, but he is not number 5.
Yeah. I had
Let's
it.
see.
Yeah.
Let's five. Trying to think who else. Okay, so you said those 3 guys aren't even on the list 'cause they don't have technically have a contract.
Correct.
I'm trying to think of the teams right now.
What letter does the team start with?
A P.
That's the city name, or that's the.
That's the team name.
So it
Why
could
am
be
I supposed to know?
Pittsburgh or Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
No, it's the mascot name.
Yeah,
The-
yeah.
the-
Oh.
not the city name. The
The,
the
oh my
blank.
gosh, I can't.
So
Thank you. I know
Patriots.
his name. Aaron
No,
Jones.
it's Aaron Jones. Yes, Aaron Jones of the
Oh.
Packers
Yeah.
Oh,
at
Packers.
$11.5 million.
I was trying to think. I was like, who else has a high contract? I was like, oh yeah, right. He did get his.
Uh,
Yeah, actually, he deserves that too. He's very good.
new
And
new
then
new contract. Just signed it. Number 6 on the list.
Oh,
That's
Barkley.
yeah.
Saquon
Yeah.
at 11 million even, and then two-way tie here for 7th place,
So
7th
this
and
would
8th.
be Sanders.
It is not Sanders yet.
Oh, he's 9. Okay. Or he's 10.
Not yet.
Two-way tie. Two-way tie.
Two-way tie.
Eckler never got a deal, right? That was big enough, so it's not him.
Not Eckler. Not
That's what I
yet.
thought. That's what I thought. Okay. Ooh,
Two-way
it's not-
tie for
It's not
7th.
Dallas. It's not Seattle. CMC already said he's the one that's got a high contract there.
I'll give you the one team name starts with an R
J-
and another one starts
I was
with
gonna
a
say
C.
Josh
Oh,
Jacobs
it's Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs
and
and
Tony Pollard.
yeah, Josh Jacobs and
Yeah.
Tony Pollard. Both are 10.091
I don't
million.
remember Pollard
Of
getting
course,
Oh,
Tony Pollard signed his. Josh Jacobs hasn't signed his franchise tag, so Josh Jacobs could obviously. Josh Jacobs could change at the moment. But according to this website over the cap right now, Josh Jacobs is scheduled
So
to
then
make.
Sanders at 9.
Sanders is not. There's one more person before
Yeah.
Sanders.
Who the heck's 9?
This is another one that threw me off.
All right, don't give us the name this time. I want to
yeah.
All right. It's a new contract signed this offseason. I will say that.
I don't know why. I feel like Bijan Robinson would be one to get paid this much.
It's
Is it
not.
Bijan?
It's not
Okay,
Bijan.
I was like, damn, that's gonna be insane.
He
Is
does
this
make he is
DeAndre
making
Swift?
5.4 million. It is not
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift.
Okay, I didn't think he got that much. So
No. This DeAndre Swift did replace this player.
yeah, I'm trying. That's
No, he didn't. Sorry, I was looking
okay.
at. No, that was he
is
did.
it David
Miles.
Montgomery?
It is not David. David Montgomery's close. I was wrong, Steve. I was looking at the wrong line.
Okay.
This person
Hold on,
is
hold on.
going to be the only source of offense on this roster for this upcoming year.
Oh wait,
Literally,
is this
literally the only source.
what's his name from Houston? What the frick's his name?
Oh no,
Oh,
it is.
Damien is not
Oh,
Damien.
It is not Devin
Oh,
Singletary.
No,
Jonathan,
not Devin Singletary.
Jonathan
Damien-
Taylor.
It is not Jonathan Taylor. He is up next on a list to get.
Who?
He does have a contract coming up though, Steve. So he may be up here
Yeah.
soon.
No, I was
He's
talking
still
about
on this.
Damian Pearson.
It is not Damian Pierce.
Okay.
Only offense. Which team only has a running back?
Well, that's why I went for Houston because that's all they have.
Houston.
That's all he has. It can't be Seattle. So.
It's not Seattle. It is out west though.
Well, is it for the Cardinals? Oh,
Is it James Conner?
It is James
yeah,
Conner.
James Conner.
James Conner. That is Miles Sanders. I'll just give it to you guys because
Yep.
you guys have been buffering around it. And then coming up last place,
Wait, I thought he was 9th.
Miles Sanders is technically 8th because there's a two-way tie for. Is technically 9th.
Oh, I got what you're
This
saying.
is a two-way
Yeah.
tie.
He
So
was the
there's
10th, but
one
yeah.
more. The one more is the 10th.
Okay.
You guys
so-
did mention his name.
Oh God,
so-
we mentioned Jonathan Taylor then.
It's not Jonathan Taylor.
Oh,
No,
So-
how about Damien?
This person deserves to be top 5 paid.
Oh,
This person absolutely deserves to be top 5
is
paid.
it Eckler?
It is Eckler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin.
He-
He is only making $6.12 million right now.
Oh, that's 10.
So yeah,
Ooh.
he definitely should get paid. He is up for a contract this coming year. I
Yeah.
don't think he'll get much more than that, to be honest. Like I don't think
No.
because he is 28 right now. I don't think he'll be getting more. I think 10 million will be his max. If he gets that, he should be happy.
He'll get a
Yeah.
I think he gets a 2-year contract, and then I think he signs a 1-year deal that probably with one team that thinks he still got some in him with like a 10 million deal on that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that's probably
I
about
think-
it. And he just bounces around until he wants to retire.
I think that's fair. I think teams that should kind of look at him next year is definitely Miami. Miami's up there. I think Baltimore could look his way. I
yeah,
think
let's see how he does after this.
I think Minnesota could look his way too. Depends on how Alexander Madison does this year.
Yeah.
We'll
I hope he
see
does
how
well
that
enough.
goes. I agree.
is-
I
He is my
definitely-
running back for our dynasty league, so I hope he does all right.
I am definitely cheering for him. This whole running back situation is annoying because I do want them to get paid. They are they are one of the heartbeats of the offense. Like you need this position to do well in order to have a good year. I just
Yeah.
don't I the way the current layout is, I just don't see the general managers of the league, the ownership of the league doing anything to benefit these running backs. As shitty as it is, that is the state of the league at the moment.
Yep.
But with the running backs all joining a Zoom call, We'll kind of see what they decide to do. If they'll decide to boycott, if they'll decide they're
Try
all
to
gonna
hold
hold
out or
out.
something
Like
like that.
I don't know what the running backs are planning. I saw this meme on Twitter was that Saquon is no longer invited to the team to the running backs next Zoom call.
Well,
Um,
it was Nick Chubb that literally said, "There's nothing we can do, guys."
yeah, exactly. Which
And there
he's not
isn't.
wrong. It's as shitty as it is. Nick Chubb is right. Like w- I think most fans will agree the running back position should get paid more than they are. It's
Yes.
just at there just isn't anything to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's
well,
And no
the thing
matter
about. Go ahead, Steve.
I mean,
like
and no matter what, too, when you look at how teams can get creative with their offensive line, people forget the Chiefs outran the Eagles in the second half of the Super Bowl
Hmm.
because, well, one was because of their offensive line. And teams will much rather invest in offensive line because not only is it great for your running game, but also protects your quarterback. Also, receivers all the time. Debo Samuel, I mean, Kadarius Tony, and even to an extent, like we used Edelman back in the day. It's just easier to use these receivers as running backs as well, and you can be more creative with it. So there are better ways that they can, unfortunately, I hate to say it that way, but there are better ways they can invest their money in
Right.
something that's going to help overall.
People are. That's the thing I was getting at. It's just like people are talking about. Yeah, they set the tone. They do that stuff. But I'm like, if you have a guy like Derrick Henry, yeah, he'll set the tone because you can't game plan for a guy that's 6'5", freaking whatever he is, 240. Like if that guy's coming at you with his kind of speed, good night. But as you said, Steve, if you have an offensive line, and if especially if you have a tight end like Kittle along with that, there's nobody stopping your run game because if you can just make a hole, your grandmother could drive a wheelchair through it. It doesn't matter who is carrying that ball. It does not matter. If you gave it to
that's
Derrick Henry, he'd run for 300 yards a game,
that
sure, but you
that's an
don't
That may
need
be one of
that.
interesting
my
way to
favorite,
put it, Austin.
one of my favorite analogies. I think.
Oh my god.
But that's just
Anyway,
so.
Yeah.
anyway,
Unfortunately to them, they're not
mm,
as useful as they think they are.
yeah, which is really shitty in the situation. Austin is right. You have any great offensive line there, anyone can do to be a star and have a thousand rushing yards. Like it's possible. But we're gonna move on because we have still have a
Mhm.
couple other things we need to discuss. It is a sad but also happy day in Boston. We'll get to the sad part first.
Yeah.
Patrice Bergeron has officially announced he is retiring. I'm just going to go over some of Patrice Bergeron's career stats and awards, and you guys tell me if he deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mhm.
First, he is a Stanley Cup champion. He did win the Stanley Cup in 2011 with the Boston Bruins. He has won the Best Defensive Forward award 6 times throughout
That's
his
it. He's in.
career. He has he has won the NHL Sportsmanship Award for the most sportsman gentlemanly like player in the league. He is a 3-time All-Star. He did win the Mark Messier Leadership Award for the best captain in the league.
How
He is yes.
how do you
Continue.
get the best defensive, or how do you get the award for the best defenseman
Mm.
6 times, but you only get an All-Star bid 3 times? How does that
Uh,
make any sense?
because for part of it, fans couldn't actually vote for the All-Star game.
Yeah.
It was solely based on what the league wanted and
So the league just decided that their best defenseman that they gave the award to later on just didn't get to be at the All-Star
best
game?
best defensive forward. Do want to clarify?
Yeah,
But
whatever you.
yes, correct, Austin. You are correct. Best he did win the Mark Messier Leadership Award for being a great leader on and off the ice. He did win the World Junior Championship gold medal in 2005. He also is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, a World Cup of Hockey gold medalist as well. And to top it all off, he has a career 1,294 games played for a total of 1,040 career points, just under a point per game player throughout his entire NHL career.
Is that good?
What do you? I would say that's pretty good, Austin.
I don't know.
That is pretty good.
Where does that put him all time?
Not okay. Not super high, but hold on.
Now,
Also-
what I will say, Kyle, have players
Yes.
with much less gone into the Hall of Fame,
Yes.
so he deserves it.
Yeah.
He definitely
he
deserves
has-
it, in my opinion.
So, yeah, I'll let you talk about it in a second, Justin. For Steve and Austin who don't watch hockey that much, players can have gotten in solely for winning the Stanley Cup, which is to me
so like Eli Manning.
to me
Okay.
like you can't just look at Stanley Cups to me to be in the. What'd you say?
Yeah, of
Austin? I
course.
totally
He
missed
said
that.
like Eli Manning.
It's not, you're not wrong. I don't. You're not wrong. So I'm.
I just had to,
shook.
for all our football
Um,
fans out there, I had to just relate it to something they would understand.
Patrice Bergeron isn't top 50 all time in points. So, but I don't think that matters because he does have so many individual awards. The best defenseman forward award, the best defensive forward award, he does hold the record for winning it most times.
So,
So that'll-
what
yeah.
is a defensive forward? Like that's just weird. To me, so I don't get
So let's put it into a forward who scores
that.
goals
Well, I understand that.
can
I get
also
that.
play defense.
Okay.
And so he's
I mean,
ba-
like, so
basi-
like, so like in soccer terms, it would be like a defensive midfielder.
Yes.
Okay.
Some
Okay.
it's a because in the 80s to 90s forwards kind of developed a format to not just play offense but to also be a two-way player, how it's called in hockey. Someone who can
Gotcha.
score
Okay.
goals, pass the puck, but also be on the front line of defense, blocking shots, clearing the puck on penalty kill, etc. So it kind of developed into a new position. Patrice Bergeron took that in the modern era and ran away with it. He
Gotcha.
blew it out of the way. He is one of the best two-way players of all time.
Okay, so he's in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Justin,
so
what do you?
basically? Okay, go ahead, Justin.
No, yeah. What were you gonna say, Austin? Really quick.
Just saying, he is like in a way kind of like Steph Curry in the way that he changed the way the game was being played.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Go
So-
ahead, Justin.
Definitely, I was gonna talk about the way of changing play and stuff. It helps being with one team for so long because your fan base really does increase and helps you gain the notoriety of going for a Hall of Fame kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
kind of how you got Brady, even though he did go to the Bucks at the end. Aaron Rodgers was still greatly appreciated by the Packers, even though now he's the Jets. So everyone knows him, Patrice Bergeron, as like Boston and everything.
oh yeah.
It is a sad day for Boston fans, as especially our generation of Boston fans, as a lot of the championships that were won in Boston, though those players that are quintessential for those championship teams are long due. There's only are long since retired. There is only one person left in Boston who won a championship that fans can relate to, and that's Brad Marchand. He's really the last one. I am assuming he will be the next captain for the Bruins. Unless
about
they
Pasta?
decide, I was just gonna say, like, unless the team decides to not give it to an aging player and just start young.
Yeah.
But the team hasn't been known to do that. They gave it to Chara, they gave it to Bergeron, so it kind of seems like they'll just give it to Marchand, who is the next oldest player on the team. But Marchand really is the last one left of a Boston championship that's still around. Obviously, Brady's long gone, Edelman's gone, Amendola's gone, Ortiz is gone, Chara's gone, now Bergeron's gone. Not to mention
Betts is
Kevin
gone.
Gardner. What?
Mookie Betts is gone.
Oh yeah, Mookie's gone. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of players that are not playing in their respective league anymore or on their individual team. We'll see what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can do for the Celtics. See if they can now be put into that category.
Well, let's not get into that.
Bergeron chose the best season to end on with literally them breaking
Almost.
that record.
Almost.
Almost,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the playoffs, that was probably the best season they could have ended a
They're
retirement
into one
with.
of the worst teams to have to face going into it. Now that we look back on it.
Yeah.
It was really stupid that they lost to the Panthers because the Panthers barely made it. I'm not getting into it. Anyway,
You saw them play in the playoffs. You know how good they got. They got
They
hot.
own-
It was- you said it. You said it was the
Yes.
team everybody thought they were going to be. So
Yes, I did. I know they got hot at the right time. It happens, but they shouldn't have made the playoffs because the Pittsburgh Penguins suck. And if they won their last game of the year, the Pittsburgh Penguins would have been in that spot.
And
I don't,
it
Yeah.
probably would have been the Bruins winning a championship.
yeah, no, you are 100%
Uh,
right.
I think
Yes,
it
no,
would have been tough. I think it would have been tough against the Golden Knights, though.
I don't. I
No?
think. I think the Golden Knights got lucky, to be honest. Evan, don't get mad.
No, no pun intended.
I mean, we could do that about a lot of these different sports. and
Yes,
things
you
like that, where
can.
you can see who did.
Yeah.
And
You can say the same thing about the Nuggets, right? Like I
look
think
at
they
the
got
Heat,
lucky.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, they got the Heat, who knocked out the Celtics. Who would the Celtics have beat them? I don't know, but they would have played them. Right.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Moving on. Speaking of
one.
basketball, the happy news. The happy news for Boston. Is it happy? I don't know. You guys tell me. Jaylen
yes.
Brown. It's Jaylen Brown and the Celtics agree on a super max extension. Jaylen Brown is now the richest player in NBA history, signing a 5-year, $304 million contract extension, which is equivalent to 60 million buckaroos a year.
Boston's
What do you
going
guys
through.
think? You guys.
All right, let me share my thoughts on this. This is $13 million more on average salary than Steph Curry. Hey, I love Jaylen Brown. I think he's a very talented player. Is he worth 60 million a year? Absolutely no. He's not. Why? We should only be paying him maybe 40 million at the most. This is such a cap hit. And he is not even the best player on our team. He's not even top 15 in the league. Are you kidding me?
I was just gonna say that, Steve. I was totally gonna say that this guy is not even top 15 in the league. I think he's borderline.
you can
to be
argue
honest.
fifth, top 15.
I was
for
getting
sure.
there can be an argument for top 15.
Yeah,
I personally
borderline top 15 isn't fucking 60 million worth, bro. Go on. Every year, some team will make a stupid contract. Like all the money they gave to Kirk Cousins.
he
Or
did just
Jack
reset.
Harrison.
He did just reset the market for the second best player. So like, this is equivalent. Like, is Jalen Brunson worth 60 million a year? No, he's not. He's the second best player on our team. Technically, Julius Randle's supposed to be better. It's debated. That's not the
this
point,
is gonna
Austin.
screw up the market for other teams. Which
Yes.
Maybe this is a ripple effect. Maybe that's what it is. They're trying to screw everybody over. But I would not pay Jaylen Brown. Are you kidding me? Off of his goddamn playoff performance, I would have paid him 20 million. He didn't even shoot. 11 turnovers. Like 2 for 17 for shooting in game 7. Are you kidding me? I'm so pissed that we are wasting this much money. I think Jaylen Brown's a talented player. And I am all for keeping him 100%, but not for something this ridiculous. He's making 13 million more than Steph Curry.
I don't
He's
think.
All right, Austin, take it away from
Here's
me.
the problem. Do I think it's the hard part is he was eligible for this, right? Because he got what, third team All NBA or something like that. I forget which one it was. He got one of the All NBA teams, which gave him the ability to get the Supermax.
Which is
Jason Tatum got
stupid,
it
but
what,
he
last
shouldn't have
year,
fucking
right?
got it.
I think he did. I think Jason Tatum got his extension last year, or was the year before? Which one?
I think it was 2 years ago.
I think
Yeah,
you're right.
it's
I think it was 2 years ago. So, anyways, obviously the only reason he's paid more than Jalen is just because, or Jason is just because it was 2 years later, and obviously it keeps going up every year. So, but
So pissed.
who was gonna be the first one to get that Supermax extension based on what they performed of these young guys? It ended up being him. So it would have been somebody else. It could have been like a Shea. It could have been a Zion. Well, Zion actually did get, I think, a couple years ago he got a Supermax. But either way, one of those guys was gonna get it once they made that team and their team decided to give it to them. It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see what Brad Stevens does to try to keep the team together, and going forward, how does he draft to get us so we can keep being in the conversation of going for titles?
I don't know, man.
This year they have to go win it, because if you don't win it,
Yes.
you may miss your window. Yeah, you may miss your window because now you'll have two guys paid that much money. I think in the NBA they still could do it. The question will be if the two of them stay together for the next 3 years or however long the contracts are together. After this year, can you both take a step to the point of you can win together because you guys can carry the team on your backs yourself, the two of you? If that's the case, then I'm fine with it. If they can carry together for the next 3 years, 4 years, whatever it ends up being, and we can get 2 titles out of it, then I say it's a win. Honestly, if we get 1 title out of it, I still think it's a win because it's the title, right?
Mhm.
But that's the big thing. You have to go get it this year. We got rid of Grant Williams, which I don't think it's that big of a loss. I'm
No,
actually
it's
okay with
it's the thing we gain from it.
that.
I think Marcus Smart's the biggest loss for you guys, to be honest.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see how what's his name? Kristaps Porzingis plays this year.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. This is a big year. You sign Kristaps to an extension, you sign Jalen to an extension, and you have Jason. If those 3 guys cannot carry you for 2 years at least and get you at least 1 title out of that, then unfortunately, right after that year, it's gonna be trade Porzingis, or well, I don't even know if you would be able to trade Jalen and just keep going with Jason. That's my opinion. So I
Mhm.
think we have 2 years, and then you have to trade Jalen.
I don't know if you'll be able to trade Jalen with this though.
Yeah,
I
you will.
think
Yeah.
He's still
I
young enough.
think you I think you guys shot yourselves in the foot with the Supermax extension, only because of how much it is. Like I see
Okay,
where
look at-
see where you're
Look
going
at
with it.
Bradley Beal. Look at
Yeah.
Kevin Durant. It does not matter. Look at how the stars get traded in the
But
NBA.
those are
I know, but
that's
those are
Kevin
superstars.
Durant, though.
Yeah, like it's Kevin.
Bradley
Like,
Beal is not that much
Yeah,
better
but-
than Jaylen Brown at this point.
no,
He's
but
not.
it's what the Suns needed, and
Right,
like
but I'm saying
sure maybe
Bradley
someone
Beal's
can
what,
do it.
30? 29? No, actually I think he's 28.
Yeah, he's 20.
He's
But
younger. Yeah, he's 28.
I think Jaylen Brown's harder to move when he hasn't performed in a playoff. He has not performed
Neither
to the playoff
has
level.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, he has. He's done enough.
No, he hasn't.
But that's the
He
thing
hasn't.
is, it's
Not more than
problem
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has performed in playoffs. He didn't perform well last year in a few key moments. But if you look at his playoff record, you actually go look at how well he's played overall in his playoff games, he's been a very solid playoff player. So he does
Yeah.
show up. And there have been times when he's actually carried when Jason's been bad. Look at the finals last year, not last year, the year before, when we were against Golden State. That was because of Jalen, not Jason. Jason wasn't there. Now he said it was because his shoulder was whatever. I'm not getting into that. But Jaylen Brown has performed well, and he, I think, will continue to perform well. But what I'm saying is they have to go win a title, otherwise it's a mistake on the Celtics.
yes.
Unless if let's say we went to the finals once, lost, okay, that's good. We still competitive, and then we trade him out for a ridiculous haul like some of the other guys got.
Mhm.
I would say maybe it's not a mistake because in the end, star power is what you need in the NBA. We all agree with that, right? Like you need stars. You can't win without stars.
What?
So
You mean the
To an
Knicks
extent.
aren't going to win this year? What the hell, Austin?
Fuck no.
I
I'm
don't
being
think, I don't
sarcastic.
think you're Miami Heat, and we saw how that worked for them. So
We're
here's the
not
thing.
as good as Miami
No,
Heat
no.
either. So it's
But
fine.
I'm saying even they couldn't do it. So if the Miami Heat, that kind of culture, can't win an NBA title without a real star, Jimmy Butler doesn't count because he doesn't do anything in the regular season. Yeah. So that's my thing. I think it's a little bit of an overpay, in my opinion, for a second guy. But
Yes.
you had to do it because when we're talking about Jaylen Brown being either borderline top 15, I'd argue between top 15 and top 10. I actually would, because if we go down the list, there's not that many people ahead of him. Really honest, we start talking about like specifically off of last year, not what we think they were 5 years ago, or what they have
Yeah.
off and on the last 5 years. I'm saying last year he was scoring 26, I think, a game.
Yep.
And if we're going off that, his two-way prowess, yes, he turns the ball over too much, and that's a problem in the playoffs. But like for what you're paying to get to the playoffs and get production out of every night, you're looking at 26 a game. I think 5 boards and like maybe 3 assists.
Yeah.
There's not that many guys that are better than him, right? So I'd argue he's borderline top 10, but definitely I would say definitely top 15, borderline top 10, somewhere in that 15 to 10 range. And you could put any kind of guys back and forth in that range off of last season. So when we're talking about that, there's not many guys you can go get that wouldn't be either a number 1 on their team or wouldn't be the same amount as him. That's why I don't think it's that big of a deal. But you have to go win this year or next year. If you don't, then we have to trade him. That's where I think we're at.
Yep.
That's fair
Yeah.
enough. But
We'll
anyway,
see.
boys, we got 2 more things to go over today. So second to last thing to do, NFL teams, their offenses, which ones are overrated? I want us all to give one answer about what team they think has the most overrated offense.
I already got
I'm-
mine.
All right, Steve, starting with you.
All right. I've talked about the overhyping of this team many times, despite the trade that they just made.
I know who
for-
he's gonna
I know exactly who it is. Yep.
So here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna give you a
Ayahuasca.
scenario. This quarterback that they're hyping up, I need everybody to realize every single throw that's been filmed of him in training camp right now has been under or overthrown. That touchdown to Garrett Wilson. Did you see how much that boy had to reach to get that? That
Yeah,
was
but
an
Garrett
insane.
Wilson, but Garrett Wilson caught it.
That's the thing. Garrett Wilson caught it, but also on I saw two clips where it's like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner going up against each other. No, that was an underthrown ball. Now let's get into the receivers. Garrett Wilson is very talented, but when you move on from there, what do you got? Alan Lazard, who still hasn't proven to be more than maybe a number 3 wide receiver. Randall Cobb is aging. McCole Hardman was barely a 700-yard receiver with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and you don't have a good offensive line. Not even top, not even the best in your division. It's probably fourth in the division, which you need that for Aaron Rodgers, especially because he's old. You also have no running back. I think that Brees Hall can be very talented, but he's coming off an injury, and it's not a good offensive line. And who do they have at tight end? I don't even know. Who cares? Because this is a team
I
that
think it's
is
CJ Uzama, by the way.
Uzama, who's okay. He's solid. I'll give him that. He's solid, but still, there are pieces to this offense. You have a quarterback. Granted, Aaron Rodgers was not very good last year. He never passed over 300 yards. You have
Oh, sorry,
one
Tyler Conklin's the starting
Yep.
tight end for the
Conklin.
Jets.
Okay, so
My
you
bad.
have nobody at tight end.
Uzama
So
is the backup. Uzama's the backup.
Uzama's the
but
backup. You
Yes.
still don't have your tight ends are probably only going to service you for blocking or maybe a screen or just if they get covered by a linebacker, maybe a small slot catch. But the pieces you need is you still are figuring out your running game and you don't have a good offensive line. They don't. So this is really, I really am baffled. People are saying it's Super Bowl or bust for them. No, it's going to be playoffs or bust. They have to make the playoffs. That's all they can do. And they're not going to make it through the AFC. I honestly think actually they would struggle against the Patriots because Bill Belichick will be able to cover Garrett Wilson with a double team, and then Christian Gonzalez and Jack Jones are going to be able to go after anybody that they want. So, and Matt Judon's going to eat him up. Matt Judon sacked Aaron Rodgers the last time he played, and we had a pick 6 against him, and that was with a much better offensive line.
All right, Steve. So we get it. You hate the Jets. I
I
do
mean, come on.
agree.
They have Uncle Rico high on ayahuasca. I mean, they'll be fine.
Who?
I do
Rico.
agree. I do agree, Steve. They are being a little overhyped. I think you're just hating because they're the Jets, though. I don't know.
No, I'm hating because it's Aaron Rodgers because he is the most overrated quarterback in history. But that's
fair,
just me.
fair enough. All right, Justin, you're up next. Who's your most overrated offense?
Mm-hmm.
He is a lot better than Zach Wilson, though. So
He's a lot better.
Come on, that Wilson to Wilson connection, Kyle?
All right. So we got 2 for the Jets. Austin, what do you think?
See, I want to say the Chiefs. The problem is I know it's not going to be overrated because I know Patrick Mahomes, which I am grateful for because you are my fantasy. But it pains me that I have to draft you knowing you are, at this point, the GOAT of the NFL quarterbacks. Because I don't like you. But whatever.
He's not the GOAT.
Right now.
Of current time?
Of the current
I was
NFL
like,
quarterbacks.
Time?
That's what I'm saying. Not
Okay.
the actual GOAT, but I'm saying
I was
of
like,
the current
Steven.
NFL, he is the GOAT.
hot take, Steven.
So maybe not greatest of all time. Whatever you want to change. The greatest of
Current
Oh,
time.
he's the best quarterback in the league.
He is
no question. It's not even close.
However you would say that. Anyways,
Go.
honestly, I think it could end up being the Bengals. But honestly, I think the one that's going to be the
Ooh.
most overrated is going to end up being the Bills.
The Bills? Is that what you went with?
I think it's going to be the
Okay.
Bills. I think there's a chance that Burrow, maybe he has an off year. You could go with the Chargers, but I think it's going to be that everybody's going to have high things to say about the Bills coming into the season. Even though there are some unanswered questions that they don't have a running back, all those things, but I think they're still going to expect, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and the other guys there to do what they always do. Problem being that we saw last year without who's your coach, Kyle? I can't think of his name.
Daboll.
Dable. Thank you, Brian Dable. Without him, Josh Allen looked a little iffy last year. A little bit, still good, but a little iffy. Not quite the MVP level. Him. So
like implodes with turnovers for sure.
Agreed.
Oh.
Anyways, sorry. Yeah. So I would say that's the problem there. I think they're going to be probably the most overrated coming into it, just knowing who they have. Like I said, and no, you can't overrate the Chiefs because they're just going to be the Chiefs. And when you have who's probably going to finish as arguably definitely top 2 or 3, maybe even have an argument for top tight end of all time, as well as I don't want to. I hope it doesn't happen, but by the time Patrick Mahomes finishes, he will probably have an argument for the GOAT. Actually,
I think there kind of is an argument now. I'm not saying he does. I'm not saying he is, but I think there is a slight argument.
Not for greatest all time, for top 5. No, sorry.
I think there's an argument. I do think there's an argument because he has.
We'll table this for next week. We'll table this for next week.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying there's an argument. I'm saying there's an argument.
5 years of any quarterback ever, possibly.
I think there's a delusional argument, but
I don't know about that. There's an argument. I'm not saying I'm not saying I agree with it.
I actually want this on the topic list for next week, so we'll talk about it. Anyways.
All right, fine.
But that's what I'm saying. So yeah, Bills.
All right, fine. Your final answer is the Bills.
Bills.
Final answer is the Bills. All right. Mine may be a little controversial, but that's why I'm here. I'm here.
He's gonna say the Giants.
The Giants are perfectly. The Giants are perfectly rated, Justin. They're
rated as trash cans. Yes,
that's fine. I'm seeing a lot about this team. How they're going to be amazing. They're gonna win their division.
I think I know who you're going with.
I don't see this. They have a subpar quarterback. They have a rookie running back who hasn't proven anything yet. They just got a veteran running back from their rival, by the way, who has injury concerns. They have a top 5 wide receiver. I will give them that. He is very talented, but their number 2 wide receiver is suspended for the first little bit of the season, and their number 3 wide receiver is currently injured, and they just made a trade for a random wide receiver from the New York Jets. Interesting move on this part, but the Detroit Lions, I'm sorry, I don't see the hype around it. I really don't. Like, I get it. Dan Campbell is an amazing head coach. I'm excited to see what they do. I like how they made noise last season. I like how they were close. They ended the Packers season. I loved that. I hate the Packers with every ounce of my body. I love that they were able to end their season. I just don't see the hype fully around this offense right now. Until they prove me wrong, which they very well could, I don't see it.
I think I can understand a little bit of kind of the same thing with the Bills, where like they technically kind of have proved it before, but there's some questions for me for them. I can kind of see that with you.
Yep.
Jared Goff, though, when he is the starter, usually ends up being a top 10 quarterback. So while we don't like him as a quarterback, he usually does produce. Whether that actually leads to winning or not, you can debate that. Yeah. But he does actually produce numbers-wise, right? So when we're talking about offenses that produce, that you have to have that. Now, again, that doesn't mean it's going to produce wins, but it'll produce numbers. Last year they were I think in the end they ended up being like 5th ranked offense overall.
They were at least.
Were they?
They were top. They were the number one offense for like half the season. So
until they played the Patriots.
yes, and then they looked like absolute dog water, which killed me because I had their players. But yeah, I don't know if you wanted to look that up, Kyle. But
Yeah, I'm curious.
I think they did finish top 5. I think they were actually 5th, but that I don't remember exactly. I know they were top 10, but I believe they were closer to top 5. So we'll see if they can follow that up.
Wild. Lions were 4th.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Wow.
Lions were 4th.
They did prove it last year. We'll see what happens this year, but
Yeah. I need one more year of it. They could very well prove me wrong. Just right now, I can't even tell you who their tight end is. Brock
I don't know because they were idiots.
Brock
Got rid
Wright.
of TJ Hawkinson for some weird reason.
Yeah, I don't know what their move was. Maybe they didn't want to give him a
They didn't want to
contract.
pay him, but I
Yeah, they
don't
didn't wanna pay
understand
him.
that because like you're not going to pay a tight end that much anyways. And as we see now, tight end. The thing about me for a tight end, like I actually think you have to pay a tight end more than a running back because of the fact it's so hard to get a good tight end.
Yeah,
Yes.
If you have a
it's
star tight end, you need to keep the star tight end.
It's a lot harder to have a top 5 tight end than it is to have a top
Yes.
5 running back.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Especially consistently. Like we've seen it with Kelsey, especially, but Kittle, Gronk
Well, I
when
mean,
he was healthy.
like you said with fantasy production, right?
Yep.
Every year, everybody's like, get Kelsey. When it was Gronk, it was get Gronk. And then it was like, oh, shoot. Well, if I miss those two guys, I might as well just wait till the end of the draft.
Yep.
'Cause who knows?
Yeah,
who's
and just
gonna
get it after.
right?
somebody
Like-
after.
Like,
One year
I-
it'll be Darren Waller. One year it's
Mark
George Kittle
Andrews.
if he doesn't, or Mark Andrews.
Mark
or
Andrews
Michael
that
Gesicki,
weird year a couple years ago.
Right? Like,
2
So-
years ago, he was
Yeah.
my tight
Right.
end. Yeah.
that was the
They're just-
COVID year. It was COVID year,
yep.
right?
If it's
Mark
not
Andrews.
those guys, it ends up being like Cole Kmet last year, who randomly decided to have a top
Right.
9 finish out of
Or-
nowhere and
Robert-
kicked me out of the playoffs. So thank you.
Or Robert Tonyan.
Anyways.
Because he had 10 touchdowns one year, and then he was one of my 2 tight ends, and he was the one that almost had production, and then he was injured all season. So,
Or there's the guy that I hate even more, and this will make Kyle unhappy. Your old tight
Dude,
end.
I wanted him to stay with the Giants. I wanted to see him in Dable's offense, man. I hated Evan Ingram because he just couldn't catch the fucking ball. Like,
and then he goes some.
Hey, guess what? He
goes-
fixed it.
he did fix it.
He also
Granted-
kicked me out of the playoffs. Thanks for that one, because you decided to have a
Granted,
30-point game
he
against
does-
me.
He does have a lot better. He has a lot better coach. He has a lot better
Yeah.
quarterback. He has a lot better teammates around him. I
Better
obviously,
what? Better
he-
what?
yes, he has a better quarterback. I'm not an idiot, Steve. I know Trevor Lawrence is better than Daniel Jones. I'm not a
Sunshine.
moron. Sunshine. I'm not an idiot. I do know that.
I'm still mad that we
but-
didn't tank for him.
Regardless, for tank for Evan Ingram.
No.
Lawrence.
You mean Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah. We were talking about Lawrence. Why would I say tank for
well,
Evan
because you
Ingram?
brought up Evan Ingram for tight
Well,
ends.
yeah,
so that's what we were talking about. So I was like, why would you tank for? I was
Yeah,
so
tank for
confused.
Evan Ingram. He's a game changer.
But anyway, all right. Do you guys have any other topics to debate tonight before we get to our game to end it?
So, to your comment, Kyle, about Amon St. Brown. So I just saw a report today from the first training camp practice for the Lions. They had 10 red zone drills, and Amon Ra caught 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, give me one second, Kyle. I think I do
Also,
have one, but
Yeah.
Also, DJ Moore is been performing incredibly well for the Bears, and Zay Flowers is, quote, clearly the best wide receiver on the Ravens right now. Whether or not that's a good thing, who knows? Because he could be the best, and they all could suck, but who knows?
I guess the only one is we still don't know because we don't know if he's going to be available. But I think because we will not be able to discuss this before the trade deadline, because I believe that's this Sunday
I believe it's Monday.
or Monday. I mean,
Yep.
we should talk about the MLB trade deadline quickly.
Yeah.
Then I
we
think
can
we
go.
should do your little game there, whatever you have for us in store today, because I'd like to see what that is. But
Yeah,
for the next 10 minutes, I think we should just kind of discuss
Yeah,
this.
go for it.
Steve, feel free to chime in if you want to. I'm assuming
I
it's
will
gonna be
do
one
my
with
best.
Kyle. But Kyle, for starting
Yeah.
it off, we'll do 2 quickly to tackle this. Do you think the Angels should get rid of their once-in-a-generation talent?
Yes, I do. They're either going to lose him for nothing in the offseason, or lose him now and get
So
something
you
for it.
do think that he's not
Yeah.
going to pick
I don't
because
think
he has whoever the team is. He has said he knows where he's going.
I don't
we
think it's the
nobody knows
Angels
what that
again.
is, but right. So we
I
don't
don't
know
think
if
it's
it
the
is.
Angels.
So do they take the chance? Because he hasn't even told them. Apparently, nobody outside his small camp knows who it is.
As
And-
Colin Cowherd put it perfectly, the Angels should trade him for all the first-round picks in the world.
Yep.
Which I
You
found
can't do that.
I,
which is funny that he said that.
I found that absolutely hilarious because for those who don't know, you cannot trade draft picks in MLB. So
He's such an idiot.
I
Like
found
love
that
Cowherd,
so-
but like, dude, do a
The
little
one-
bit of research.
the one time he actually talks baseball, he fucks it up, and he'd be like,
It's so
"See,
bad.
this is why I don't talk
Pretty
baseball."
bad too.
It's so bad. Like literally, the
Um,
only thing that you can't do. It's why there's never MLB draft picks traded because for whatever reason they don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do it, but that's
I think
besides the
it's
point.
yeah. Well, it gets another thing. I
That's
do want
besides the point.
MLB.
I do think the Angels should do it because here's the best case scenario. They trade Shohei, they get a massive haul for him, and then he just signs with them again next year. They get all of that value for him, and then he still chooses to stay in Orange County.
I see. I agree with that. I think if I'm them, look.
You haven't told us
honestly,
anything, Shohei. This
I
is
would
our
look-
chance we're taking.
If I was him, I would say, Shohei, you may want to come back with us, and that's fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna trade you away with the hopes of getting you back. If I'm the owner, Moreno, I forget how to say
Yeah,
it,
whatever. You
but I
say.
think it's Moreno. I would honestly go to him myself personally and say, look, I want to keep you here, whatever it takes. But to better help you and Trout win a title for us, I am going to trade you away for this half-year rental to whoever wants you and can give us the best deal, as you said. And then I would look at him and go, I will sign you for frickin' $1 billion if that's what it takes. Obviously, it would be more like 600 million. But and say, look, I will sign you for this. Just go be there. It's fine. I mean, with us, that I don't lose you for nothing. But that's what I would tell him. I would agree with you with that. That's totally what I would do if I was. Because
if I'm Shohei, I'm going to the Angels and goes, I'll come back, but I want Saudi Arabia money. That's what I would say if I'm Shohei right now.
Yeah, I know the Angels would not pay that. I know.
No,
they
I know they will. I know
Nobody
they will.
in the MLB will be able to do that. But yeah, I think they gotta trade him. I agree with you. I think they have to trade him. I'm also saying that a little biased because I want him. If
I
I'm
don't. I hate to break it to you. I don't. I've kind of changed my tune from last week about the Yankees too. I'm kind of pissed off at this point.
Well, that's interesting because it's so funny because they give me hope, and I don't like that they gave me hope with this one series Royals, but they look terrible against bad teams, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, let's just kind of play now." So
it's the
and Aaron
Royals.
Judge is likely okay. Yeah, well, they should have done that against the Cubs, the White Sox, not the Brewers, the Rockies. So let's not get into how bad they went against all of the worst teams in the league for like a month straight. And literally didn't win a series against them. The Athletic Blue.
They are
They
currently
barely did
getting smacked by the Mets right now. So it's
Oh,
fine.
nice. That's fun. Yeah. One of the teams that's been terrible all year. But yeah, that makes sense. Of course we get.
Um,
Anyway,
Anyway,
I would still trade for him and then try to sign him. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah,
But the
I
Yankees.
agree.
Do you think, here's the other part of it, do you think the Yankees, Red Sox, or teams like them that are kind of teetering on that cusp of a playoff spot, do you think they should be buyers or do you think they should be sellers?
I don't think the right.
Not full blown sale, but like just sellers.
I don't think the Red Sox should be buyers in any capacity. You're looking at the AL East right now. Even if they are buyers, whoever they get, they're not catching up to the Rays. They're not
they're
catching
catching
up.
for a wild card spot.
Yeah, but even so, I don't think they're going to catch the Orioles either. And yeah, there's
well,
three.
There's
There's
three.
three wild cards, but now you also have to compete with the Rangers. You have to compete with the Astros. You got to
Right.
compete with the Guardians and the Twins. Like, I know they're close to a wild card spot right now, right? Like they are currently 2.5 games behind the Blue Jays for that last wild card.
Right. Same with us.
So
We're tied.
yes, exactly. So there's a chance. If I'm the Red Sox, I don't think you should do it because I don't think their pieces are enough right now where you can compete. If I'm the Red Sox, I'm just saying I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the right time. I don't think this is our chance to. I think they can make a nice splash in free agency at the end of the year and come back next year and be like, okay, here we go. We're ready to compete now. I don't think if I'm them this year, I'm looking at this roster and saying, I think we're just lucky right now, to be honest. I think we have a great set of players who have great chemistry, and that's where we're going with it. And I think that's where the Red Sox need to look, because there are teams that are below them that are going to get hot coming into the end of August and coming into the playoffs. Like the Angels could pick it up. The Mariners last year, they could be get red hot at any moment. Guardians still have a good team. You still have teams above them too, like the Rays, Astros, Blue Jays. Like there are teams, plus the Yankees if they ever decide to wake up, right? Like there are teams that the Red Sox I don't think can compete with right now. So if I'm them, I don't want to sell the farm to have a maybe when they could go next year and say we'll dish out X amount of money to come back at this, and then say, all right, let's do it this year. If
Fair
I'm
enough.
if I'm the Yankees, I'm saying we are supposed to be in a win now mode. We're struggling. Let's see if we can shake it up, because teams have done it before where they are struggling at the deadline, come back, do super well in August and September, and make the playoffs, right? And so if I'm the Yankees, I'm looking at this roster and say we are supposed to be a win now team. What is happening? Can we make a move? And I think we should make a move. Whether or not that happens, you and I had that debate last week. We even stayed after the podcast to talk about it a little bit. So like when it comes to like I think the Red Sox and Yankees are kind of in two different situations, even though they have the same exact record. I think roster makeup is very different right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with you on that a little bit. I think if I'm the Red Sox, I sell on this. So anybody that's worth a little bit that you don't want to keep around, that's having a good year that you could get something for, I would do that. I'm trying to think who they even have they could do that with. They don't have. They definitely have some guys they could probably get for some minor league prospects
They
that are a
just
little bit
traded
worth it.
Kike, right? So
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's guys like that. I think if I'm the Yankees, again, we said it last week, or at least I did. I want them to sell. Now it's annoying because they went and did that. Now they're getting smacked, not really smacked, but it's 4-0. Also, screw you, Herman, for making my parlay stuff not work out, but whatever.
same.
But anyways, freaking 7Ks. So I think if I'm the Yankees, I still think you need to sell. That's my opinion. I think we're not going anywhere. This team is not just going to randomly get hot enough to go do it because they don't have the kind of bats like the Phillies did last year. The Phillies actually had a good team that when they got hot were dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we get hot, I mean, I guess if you said, okay, if Judge gets super hot and somehow finally shows up in a playoff game, Stan always shows up in playoffs, and somehow Rizzo showed up like 2016 Rizzo, maybe you have a shot. And if Volpe like is able to kind of take another step forward and be like a guy who you rely on, maybe. Gleyber Torres is hot right now, getting into the time of August. He always does that, and then he just disappears at the end of September and September. So to me, there's so many problems that I don't know if the pitching can get right. I don't know if the bullpen can get rested enough for the playoffs. I don't think there's too many questions for me regarding the offense, regarding the pitching, regarding basically everything of this roster construction that I don't see the point in buying. The only way I see the point in buying is if you're telling me you're saying we are going completely in on this season, which still would be stupid to me. But if you go get me Shohei, you go get me Bellinger, and you go get Candelario from Washington. If you get me those three guys, then I'm saying we better win. Because if you have Judge who comes back and is healthy, you have Shohei, and you have Cody Bellinger who has performed in the playoffs and is an MVP. If you go get me those guys who are playing extremely well, and yeah, okay, sure. If you're gonna tell me you're gonna do all of that, then go. So the only other team that I wanted to talk about is whether or not you think the Padres should go ahead and
sell.
Now, when we're saying sell, are you saying
sell everything?
Sell? Okay.
Sell
so
everything.
Sell everybody.
Padres are an absolute shit show, man.
Okay. So if I'm the Yankees, you go get me Juan Soto. You go get me.
You get me everyone.
I will buy every single person.
I will buy the entire San Diego Padres roster from
Maybe
you.
not all
Put-
of them because they're obviously not doing well. I,
Put
like,
put
you get
Yankee
me Hader.
pinstripes on them.
You get me Hater. You get me Soto. You get me
I
Shohei.
want
You get me
Xander. No, I'm just
Bellinger.
kidding. I don't want Xander.
You get me those 4 guys.
Yeah.
I don't care if we're without a title for another 10 years. We are already at a title, not having a title since 2009. You can sell and punt on the next 10 years. I am fine with that. But you go get me a if you're buying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, do not buy. That's my opinion. I either want them to sell, not the whole team, just sell a few pieces like Rizzo, Glaber, some of those guys, and replenish to get ready for
See,
next year.
you and I keep
Or
going
you
back and
buy
forth
everything.
on Glaber.
That's
I don't think we should sell Glaber. I like him too much. He's our only source of offense right now.
He's clogging up but he clogs up. He's not consistent enough for me, and I don't think I think he has value, but he's gonna slowly lose value in my opinion. He's
Yeah.
still young and he still hits well, and you never know which kind of defense you're getting. Last year he was top 10. This year he's not doing well again. So for me, you sell now while he's high because you have Peraza shows every time he's up, lights out defensively and he can hit. So get me Peraza and put Volpe and Peraza there. That's why I'm saying you can get value for him. That's what I'm saying. Either they sell a
Anyway,
little bit or they buy all in now. That's what I'm at that.
anyway, we
So-
are gonna have some trades to talk about next week. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Regardless of what teams they are, we will bring you all more about that. But to end today's episode, I did put together a little fun activity for us when I thought we wouldn't have anything to talk about until this morning happened.
Yes.
And then
That was
breaking
very
news.
quick.
Breaking news up the wazoo happened this morning. But anyway, what I decided is we've done this before with professional sports, so I decided I would do it for college sports. I'm gonna
Ooh.
give you the champions of a year
Oh,
from football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, and
Oh my
lacrosse.
God, I'm gonna do
I'm
terrible.
going to.
what?
I'm gonna read
That's
them.
not
No,
even
no.
fair.
I'm gonna read them to you. You just have to tell me the year. You guys can talk
Okay,
together.
thank God.
Oh,
You guys
okay,
can
all
talk
I thought I was
together.
trying
You-
to guess the team. I'm like,
no,
dude,
no, 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 no. I'm not gonna do that. That's a lot. That's too much to do. So I'm gonna give you the teams. You guys gotta talk together and figure out
Okay,
what
so
year
wait.
they won. For
When-
football, hold on. So for
I'm just-
football, it is going to be the season it started. So this past year, for
was
example,
2022.
Georgia won, but it was for the 2022 season,
Right.
so it will
Yep.
count under 2022.
So,
Okay.
question:
Yes.
when you say you're doing it for all of the sports,
Yep.
is it just? Are you saying like each year? we're
So
doing
I'm
every
going to
sport?
give you no. So I'm going to tell you the winners of those 6 sports for 1 year. I'm going to tell you those, and you have to tell me which year they won.
Oh, fuck it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
So for example, I will tell you the 2023 champions so far because it's not complete. I'm not going to have this count as a guess.
I get how you're saying it now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you the champions for 2023. Basketball, it's UConn. Baseball, it's LSU. Hockey, it's Quinnipiac. And lacrosse, it's Notre Dame.
So what you're
Okay.
saying is you're gonna say, okay, 2022, the champions, and we have to guess the school.
You have to guess the year. No.
Year.
I'm going to
Just
tell
the
you
year.
the champions. So I'm going to
Okay,
say,
gotcha,
I'm
I
going to
gotcha.
say this
Yep,
year,
Yep.
the champion was blank, blank, blank,
Okay,
blank,
gotcha,
blank.
gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I
I'm-
got you. I follow.
You got me now? All right.
Yep.
For this year, the champion for football was Ohio State. The champion for basketball was UConn. For baseball, it was Vanderbilt. For soccer, it was
14.
Virginia. For hockey, it was Union. And for lacrosse, it was Duke.
14.
Is that the answer you guys want to go with?
Fuck yeah.
I'm telling you, so
Sure.
yeah, it's 14.
Yeah, that is correct. Good job.
Okay.
You said Ohio State, then UConn. I was like, yeah. I didn't have to wait because I knew Ohio State won the playoff, and I knew UConn followed it up that year. I was like, yep.
Oh,
There
as you
are
know, Austin, I am so little help in this. So let's
That's okay.
go.
I think I got this. The way he did this.
I
makes
feel like
it like
Austin's gonna be the main carrier of this.
it. So
All right. All right, next one. I'm not gonna say the sport every time, so you gotta try and
Yeah.
figure it out. I am always gonna go in the same order though,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna say the sport every time. That just takes too much time.
okay.
Georgia, Kansas, Ole Miss, Syracuse, Denver, Maryland.
22.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Good job. Austin is gonna carry this, huh?
Oh,
When we get, so we're only going 10 years. How long are we going?
Yeah. I'm only doing
Years,
10
okay.
years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it may be a little hard in some of these.
Florida State, Louisville, UCLA, Notre Dame, Yale,
13.
Duke. Yeah, that's correct. Damn. Austin's.
Let's see if I can do this. I'm
I
hoping
was
I
gonna
can do
say, like,
perfect. I wanna
Process
go
of
perfect.
elimination, then.
Yeah, it's good. It's gonna come down to all right. Alabama, no champion, no champion.
2020.
Marshall,
2020.
no champion, no
20
champion. Is
yeah.
2020.
That one's
yeah.
easy.
Also,
Yeah.
Alabama. I mean, Alabama was what was it?
You started saying, you started saying Alabama, and I was like, oh crap, this is a lot of years.
Right,
And then
right as I heard no champ, I was so confused. Like, I'm like, is there a tie? But then once I heard more, I'm like, oh, COVID.
Yep.
COVID happened. Yeah. So for 2020, obviously, basketball, baseball, hockey, and lacrosse all canceled their championships. Soccer decided we don't give a shit, and we're having our championship anyway.
Oh.
And
So-
football was like right before COVID happened.
Yes, and football was right before. And then by the time 2021 happened, vaccines
Everything
had
was
started
vaccinated.
rolling out, so everything didn't really matter.
It was bubble style, but yeah.
Yeah, bubble
2019 is gonna have, like, no champ for baseball.
I know who 2019. We'll see when
You know who 2019 is as soon as I get there? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll figure that out eventually.
All right.
Clemson, Villanova, Coastal Carolina,
16.
Stanford, North Dakota, and North
Wait,
Carolina.
Hold on.
18. 2018.
Discuss. You guys got to discuss. Which one is it?
I'm thinking 2018 because Clemson. That's Trevor Lawrence's, and it was 2019. I think that.
Do you need me to repeat? Do you need me to repeat?
Yeah,
them?
one more time.
Clemson, Villanova, Coastal Carolina, Stanford, North Dakota, and North Carolina.
So it goes football, basketball, baseball, right?
Mhm.
Is that how you did it?
Mhm.
Then soccer, lacrosse,
Soccer, hockey,
Wait.
lacrosse.
or soccer, hockey. sorry.
Oh wait, it could also be 2016.
It's 16. It's 16.
Watson.
It's 16.
16.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. 2016.
Because I was like,
Sean
I
Watson.
remembered. I knew Villanova won, but I knew that Coastal Carolina won 16. That's why I had to go back and remember which order you had the
Yeah.
sports.
Well, I had to remember for Clemson as well because there's Deshaun Watson. I think we're gonna get some more
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence wins as well.
Yeah, we will.
Fair enough. All right. Georgia, Baylor, Mississippi State, Clemson,
21.
UMass, and Virginia. Yeah, 2021.
21. Yeah.
21. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3 years left. 3 years left. All right. Sorry, 4 years left. I can't count. My bad.
I was like, I'm pretty sure there's 4.
4 years left. Alabama, Duke, Virginia, Stanford, Providence, Denver.
Oh, the Providence one. I think you were talking about this too.
I did talk about this.
Did
That is
we?
correct.
Did we?
I don't know why. I almost want to. What was
Did we
Alabama
do-
was for football?
Am I allowed to ask if we did a year yet?
Sure.
Did we do 15 yet?
I don't know.
No, we haven't done 2015.
It's 15.
Yeah,
It's
it's 2015. Yeah.
I was like, the last time Duke won was
Oh.
15 that I remembered. So yeah.
Did we
but
do a
I
year?
remember
I don't
15
know.
when It's like Providence. Like, oh yeah, wait. It was. What was it? Was Providence? Was that? Providence. What was it? Lacrosse, hockey. What was?
Hockey. It was
It
hockey.
was hockey. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which was a big deal too. That was a big win
Yeah,
for
it
them.
was.
All right. LSU,
19.
Virginia, Vanderbilt, Georgetown,
18.
Minnesota, Duluth, and Virginia. Yeah,
2019.
that's 2019.
Burrow.
I told you, there's only 1 year for them, and I know.
Wow, there was a
Uh,
winner in baseball in 2019.
There was, yep, because it happens in the spring.
Yes, but that was like right as like they started sending everyone home, so I didn't think
No,
it
that was
actually finished.
2020.
That was 2020.
That was 2020, Justin.
Yep,
No, 'cause-
My years
yeah,
are-
'cause baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball
Yeah.
starts. Baseball starts at the beginning of.
I
2019.
know.
Yeah.
I mixed up.
All right. Alabama, North Carolina, not Virginia,
17.
Florida, Stanford, Denver,
17.
and Maryland. Yeah, you're correct. So by default, the last year is. No, okay.
13.
Clemson,
13.
Villanova, Oregon
sorry, I
State.
mean,
18.
I'm 18.
Yeah, Maryland,
You lost.
Minnesota,
forgot
Duluth,
we had
and
18.
Yale. Yes. So
I almost said 18. I was like, no, I think we already said 8. I was like 13. I was like, no, wait, we said
No,
13.
like 18 was one of the Clemsons, but you got it right because
It was T-Law.
yep.
Yeah.
It was T1,
So
and Villanova.
Cle-
went there.
Clemson and Villanova were back to back in 2016 and 2018. So when you guys kept going back and forth about 2016 and 2018 for the first time, I was like, ooh, let's see if you guys can
Yeah.
remember the other sports.
Right.
to
That's
try
why I
and
was
figure
like,
it
wait,
out.
okay, when did Villanova? When did? I was like, no, yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was Coastal Carolina. I had to go back and Carolina because I remember 2016 was when I was looking at schools and I was looking at Coastal One and I was like, ooh, that's really cool. And I was like, yep, that's Coastal Carolina. That's why I had to ask. I was like, wait, which order does he go in? It's baseball. I don't know. It's football, basketball, baseball. Wait,
I-
Steve,
I-
do you have any other ones? I want to see if we can go back a couple more years.
I don't have it, and I only did 10 years, but I
I
don't.
think it was. I
Um,
think 1 year. I feel like it would be like 2010 if you were to say like Florida, but.
Yeah, 2006 and 2007, Florida won both
Yeah.
basketball and football,
Yep.
and I think they won another sport in there too. But anyway, that's.
Florida was for the basketball though. It was 7-8.
I thought it was, they both won the same year, so whatever year they're counting.
But I
the
don't think it was-
season start.
2 years in a row, was it? They were both.
Yeah,
the
it
same,
was.
Was the same.
They were both.
for both of
They
them?
were both back to back. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I knew they were both back to back. I thought it was like one started one or something like that.
Oh no, they.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're both the same year.
Okay.
But anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Do you guys have anything else for me?
No.
Everybody enjoy yourselves. I'm going to be doing this episode from the middle of Maine next week, so I can't wait.
Woo,
There'll
man.
be
Yeah.
a lake right behind me, so it's going to be great.
All right.
Do it on the
Well,
lake.
That's all that
Right.
we have for you all. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go follow us on our socials: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and any other platforms. I think we have a Threads now too. Question mark.
Think so?
Sorry. It's not technically Twitter anymore. My bad. Go follow us on
X.
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 Go
Go to
follow us.
X.com and
Awesome.
Threads.
Go us to
But,
x.com. I promise it is PG rated. Maybe. Anyway, that's all we have. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night.
Peace out, you sexy
Kind of
YouTube
someone.
lovers.